slow process. Hold on. Hmm. Hmm? Shoot. Um, I... Um... Shoot. Oh, I don't know. Both my... shoot. Yep, I don't know what happened.
She will slice you open with a knife
Yeah.
and eat you. She's said to be the tormented spirit of a woman
Ah,
who accidentally
here's
killed her
some of most amazing top 10 stuff.
child in an effort to find a cure for her friend's child being sick. She was told to bring back the liver of an unborn child, but when she finally killed her victims, she found they were actually her own family. Okay, next up at number 2 now, we have the Dream School. This one is excellent.
Okay, I'm back.
Apparently, if you don't forget this story within a week of hearing it, it will happen to you. Let's see if that's true. One night, a boy had a dream about a school. The hallways just looped forever, bringing him always back to the start. Staircases led back to the first floor. As he got quite scared, he heard footsteps behind him. He ran until he found an emergency exit with a glass box and a key next to it. The glass had been smashed and there was no key, just a note saying that it could be found in room 108. When he found that room, it was empty. No students, but there was a pounding on the door. He opened it, terrified, to find the hallways covered with dead children. It said that he never woke up from his dream, and if you don't forget this story in 1 week, you will meet the same fate. Don't worry though, guys. I don't think this is true. See me on the channel next week, sorry. And finally, number 1 now, we have Onryo. This is a traditional Japanese belief about a vengeful spirit that can and will physically hurt the living. It's a very scary concept if you're only familiar with the Western idea of ghosts, which don't really tend to take solid forms and so can't hurt humans with physical contact in the traditional way. That's not true though for an Onryo. They are vengeful and full of hate, stopping at nothing to enact the suffering they received when they were alive. For any of you guys who have seen The Grudge, this spirit is the influence for that creepy girl in that movie. Well, that's now our 3rd video exploring urban legends around the world. We've done Korea, Britain, and Japan. What country or place
here it
do
is.
you want to see next?
What?
There's a lot of good suggestions in the comment section, so do keep them.
Hold on, guys.
As always.
What demo? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm back. Just a second. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Here it is.
Think of the mind as a still pool of water. Each thought is like a raindrop. It creates a ripple on the surface. If it starts raining very hard or is perhaps a little windy, then the pool might become so cloudy that we can't see.
Hello everyone, I hope you are ready for this. We're going to be looking at some creepy tales again, and this time it's from my homeland of Britain. It's a place with a lot of history, thousands of years, so it makes sense that there would be a lot of scary stories attached to certain places.
Did I kill someone?
Shiver down your spine. Let's find out. My name is Danny Burke.
He's dead! Yeah, I still got someone to die in this.
Going off at the strange. Now, according to London folklore, in the early 1900s, there was a train that ran underneath the city, and it was only for 10 people. Back then, London were struggling to deal with the vast amount of people who were dying from poverty and disease. They decided to transport the bodies out of the city, but knew that they couldn't do it overground without disturbing a lot of people. So they used an existing train line to load the bodies onto. The train ran just the other side of a wall from the normal daily service, where unsuspecting Londoners were getting on and off their trains, unaware of the nearby bodies. Next up at number 9 now, we have the suicide pool. This one comes from Epping Forest near Essex. The story goes that years ago, a young couple in love were followed to a pond in the forest by the girl's father. When the couple finally embraced, the father leapt from the trees to confront the boy. The fight got out of hand and the father ended up killing the boy in a rage at the edge of the pool. The waters then turned black. Wildlife that was touching the water died instantly. In the years that followed, bodies started to appear in the water. First it was an old woman, then a young one with her young child beside her. They say the pool drew them into their death, and that the pool is still out there in the forest somewhere, waiting for its next victim. Next up at number 8 now, we have Annie. This one comes from Edinburgh, Scotland. In the old town there lies a street known as Mary King's Close. It's steeped in myths and legends of hauntings and murders. In 1990, a psychic called Aiko Gibo visited and felt a small hand touch hers. She said that she then made contact with the spirit of a dead child called Annie, who had died in a plague hundreds of years ago and had lost her doll. The psychic then went to a nearby shop and brought back a Barbie doll for her. Now since then, visitors leave dolls for Annie, and a mountain of them has built up in the dark. Moving on to number 7 now, we have the Faceless Woman. This one comes from the borough of Barking in London. There you can find Beacon Tree Station, home to the Faceless Woman. The most famous sighting of her happened in 1992. A station supervisor reported that on one night he heard the handle of his office door rattle. Outside on the platform stood a woman. She had blonde hair, she wore a very pale dress and just stared into the distance. The supervisor approached her, but as he reached out, she turned to him only to reveal she had no face, just darkness where there should be one. Local ghost hunters claim that she is the victim of a train crash that happened there in 1958, which killed 10
Coming up after
people.
the break, we'll be
Six
sitting
now,
down with a former street artist. Sweet Tea, as he's known in the community, is here to promote a new book of his art and a brand new fashion line, including t-shirts, caps, and bling. Very exciting stuff.
I don't get it. Why did they show me that?
Is often covered in swirling fog, the perfect setting for this urban legend. The story goes that in 1980, 2 bear carcasses were found in the river. They had been decapitated. People started speculating about who or what could cut a bear's head clean off its shoulders. Then, a year later, 4 boys were taking a walk along the marsh one winter morning when they saw it through the trees. They described it as a giant, great, growling, hairy thing. As soon as it saw them, it reared up on its back legs and let out a deafening roar. The boys ran, but the story remains always in the back of people's minds as they trudge through the marsh. We're returning now to the London Underground for our number 5 with The Crying Girl. On November 18th, 1987, a match was dropped on an escalator at London's King Cross station. A fire quickly spread into the nearby ticket office, which was passengers have reported seeing a girl who died around the station. She has long brown hair, wears jeans and a t-shirt, and is always crying. Some people have even reported hearing her sobs while smelling smoke coming out from the escalators. Back to Scotland now for our number 4 with Sawney Bean. This is the gruesome tale of Alexander Sawney Bean, a man who was said to be the head of a Scottish clan of cannibals in medieval times. According to legend, the group was made up of his wife, their 14 children and 32 grandchildren, some of whom were born through incest. They lived in a cave by the water and would ambush people on the road at night. They would bring their bodies back to the cave to then dismember and eat them. Any leftovers were pickled in a jar for later. When King James VI of Scotland eventually heard of these murders, he led a manhunt to capture them. The clan was caught and then executed. Some people say you can still find the cave along the Benane Head area of Scotland. Moving on to number 3 now, we have Cane Hill. Some say this is one of the most haunted places in England. It was a mental asylum for over 100 years, from 1882 to 1991. It built up a reputation for abandoning some of its patients, hiding them away from the public eye, and never truly helping them. Some people say the patients who died left their energy behind there because of their tortured lives. The building was gutted ignited by a mysterious fire in 2010. Perhaps the scariest stories of all are of the faces appearing by the burnt-out windows. Next up at number 2 now, we have the House of the Screaming Skull. This one comes from Bettiscombe Manor in Dorset, England. The legend goes that in 1830, a man lived there called John Frederick Pinney. He had a slave that he had brought back from the Caribbean island of Nevis. The man became ill, and on his deathbed, he swore he would never rest unless his body was returned home to Nevis. Pinney refused to pay for that expense, and when he died, he had the man buried in the local graveyard. After that, ill fortune began to plague the village for months. Screams and cries were heard from the cemetery. At the manor house, windows rattled and doors kept slamming. The body was dug up and brought to the manor house, where today only the skull remains, where it's said to haunt the manor, but the village remains safe. And finally, number 1 now, we have the Hellhounds. Dartmoor is a vast, rocky, windy and mysterious part of England. It's popular among tourists, but everyone who goes there is aware of the legend of the Hellhounds. It's said that a pack of these ghost dogs wanders the moors at night, preying on sheep, and they're not afraid of humans. They've often been described as cat-like, but with the frame of a bear, and very fast. There have been pictures and film taken of them over the years that claim to show glimpses of these Hellhounds in action. Many of the locals don't even need that though. They've heard the stories handed down from generation to generation. Some of them even say they've seen the hounds with their own 2 eyes. Great stories. I want to talk about more of them, but next time I want them to be from other countries. We've done a few of them now, but there's plenty more countries out there. Where are you guys from? Does your country have some scary stories that I might like? Let me know. I'm Danny Burke. Thank you as always for watching, guys. And I'll see you
I can't control it. Can't see it.
Emergency shutdown coming right up. Got some weird ghosting going on. Gonna run a diagnostic. Stand
by. Okay. Is it there? Oh, there it is, like, right here.
Network access restored. We'll continue monitoring the situation.
When I first heard the word samurai, I had a very strong image in my mind of superhuman strength and cold-heartedness. Having researched their philosophy, my mind has changed somewhat, and I believe that strength was very important.
How did do that?
I've been living in Japan for 30 years to study.
Welcome back everyone to Most Amazing Top 10. It's been way too long since we've done a scary story kind of video on this channel. I was honestly struggling to find things that would creep you guys out, and then I found some really creepy stories from Korea. Now I love Korea, I'm hoping to go there one day in my life, but these stories have me thinking twice. They are insane. My name is Danny Burke, and I hope you guys are ready for the top 10 scary Korean urban legends. Now unless I mention otherwise, these are going to be from South Korea, just for you guys worrying about the details. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the Virginial Ghost. This is a term used to describe those grudge-type apparitions. You've probably seen horror movies with the hair, with the face, usually dressed in white. One day, a man who lived on the top floor of an apartment building woke up to the sound of a knock at his door. He lived alone and rarely got visitors. He walked to the door and asked, "Who's there?" After a few seconds, a voice said, "Count to 100 and don't make a sound or you'll die." He opened the door and there was nobody there. He was still quite scared though, and so he closed his eyes and started to count to 100 in his head. When he got to 49, he opened his eyes out of curiosity, and there she was, right in front of his face. Next up at number 9 now, we have plastic surgery. Now plastic surgery is a big market in South Korea, and as such, horror stories have sprouted up around it. This story starts with a man sitting on an empty subway car when a tall, thin woman sits down in front of him. Her long, dark hair covers most of her face, but he can see she's wearing a surgical mask. As the doors close, he catches her eye. He smiles. She asks him, "Am I pretty?" He replies, Yes, and then she starts to take the mask off. There's a huge wound from ear to ear, exposing her bleeding gums, teeth, and muscles. Am I pretty now? She screams at him. She takes out a scalpel and moves towards him. The doors open, and he runs for his life. Next up at number 8 now, we have the organ thief. This is quite a modern South Korean urban legend coming from the city of Gwangju. Screenshots of a text conversation between two friends appeared on Facebook there and went viral. One of the friends was warning the other to not take taxis there at night. They said that one of their friends got in a taxi while drunk. The taxi driver then put a needle in their neck. They lost consciousness and were defenseless. When they came round, they were bleeding from their stomach and lying in a field on the outskirts of the city. He was rushed to hospital where doctors found he was missing a kidney. The fear of these organ-stealing taxi drivers became so much that city officials said it was actually affecting the taxi business in the city. Alright, next up at number 7 now, we have Dalgyal Guishin. This is what's known as a traditional beard. It's notable because the ghost is with absolutely no facial features, no eyes, no nose or mouth. Some of them even lack arms and legs. They're often referred to as perhaps the most terrifying spirits in Korean folklore, as even just looking at one can cause instant death. Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have the Back. The story goes that a married couple with a young son were always fighting every single day. After years and years of this, it got so bad that in a sheer rage, the father murdered the mother. He covered up the crime and nobody else suspected a thing. The only strange thing was the boy never seemed to complain about the absence of his mother, and so he asked him, "Son, why aren't you calling out for mommy?" Most little boys would want their mummy to be with them. "Tell me what bothers you." The little boy looked up and slowly replied, "I'm fine. I was just wondering why you're always carrying mommy on your back." This is one of many similar stories found across the land. Next up at number 5 now, we have sesame seeds. This is a strange urban legend that seems to scare people about coming into contact with sesame seeds. A girl had heard that taking a bath with sesame seeds in the water would be good for her skin, so that's exactly what she did. She sat in the bath for hours and hours. After a while, the girl's mother became concerned and went to check on her. When she opened the door, she found the girl was covered in the seeds which had sunk deep into her flesh. The daughter was crying and trying to remove them with a toothpick. There's one for any of you guys who hate the thought of holes in your skin. Alright, moving on to number 4 now, we have the bathroom girl. This one is kind of like Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter, but about 100 times more creepy. There are stories that in some of the old Korean schools with their dimly lit bathrooms live the ghosts of girls who have killed themselves. It's said that she now haunts the stall where the event took place. How do you know which stall it is? Well, the toilets have been said to flush by themselves, the doors slam with nobody around, and sometimes you can hear her cry or even catch a glimpse of her in the mirror. The most gruesome by far, though, is that sometimes she is said to emerge from the stall and ask you if you will use red or blue toilet paper. If you choose red, the ghost will then cut you open. If you choose blue, the ghost will suffocate you. I probably just wouldn't wipe. Next up at number 3 now, we have ghost money. In this urban legend, a member of the South Korean Mint went away on a business trip. During the trip, his daughter was abducted, murdered, and then dismembered. After a lengthy investigation, nobody was tried for the crime. It was believed that this lack of justice would turn the girl's ghost into an angry spirit that would seek revenge. Because of this, the Mint began to place images of her body parts and parts of her name on South Korean currency in the hopes that this would appease her. Has denied all knowledge of this. At number 2 now, we have the loan shark. A loan shark is someone who lends people money, often illegally, at extremely high interest rates. Sometimes, if they don't get their money back, they take matters into their own hands. There's an urban legend from a small village in South Korea. Farmers there had to make a mass grave to bury cattle in who had died from disease. Not long after that, they heard a human voice calling out from beneath the soil. By the time they had dug through the dirt, the person buried among the cattle had already died. An investigation found that they owed a lot of money to a loan shark. This has apparently happened dozens of times across the country. And finally, number 1 now, we have oysters. This is a really weird urban legend coming from the South Korean coastline. Apparently, I was walking along the beach when he slipped on a sharp rock that cut his knee open. He washed it quickly and put a bandage over it. When he got home, it started to itch, but he didn't want to remove the bandage in case it just made things worse. He took it off after a few days, and to his absolute horror, tiny oysters just covered the wound. It turns out there had actually been oyster eggs on the rock he had fallen on, which had gotten into his wound. They were protected by the bandage and fed on his blood until they had rooted themselves in his leg.
So many friggin' eyesores in this city. Billboards
Guys,
everywhere.
this has kind of
I
inspired
remember
me
when
to start
billboards
looking
were
into
only put up
other
by the
countries'
highway.
urban legends.
It was
I've
like
heard Japan and perhaps
something to catch
Germany
your
also
interest
has
on
some
a boring
scary
drive.
ones. Would you guys like
Now
to hear
it's
them?
just
Let me know.
sensory
I'm Danny
overload.
Burke. Thank you as
Everywhere
always for
you
watching,
go,
guys.
someone's
I'll
trying
see
to
you
sell
all
you
in the
something.
next one.
You trying to break the rules of the game, Mara? No, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Not so fast, you.
Double kill.
Welcome to the first episode of Designer vs. Non.
Urban legends. Urban legends are known to spread spontaneously.
21 minutes, no one watching of this live stream this morning.
To spread fear amongst those who hear about these urban legends. I know I'm afraid of a lot of these stories I've heard about. Campfire. In most cases, these legends are just made up stories used as cautionary tales or even just to scare someone. So that's why someone makes it up. So this right here is the top 10 scary urban legends that actually might be real. So starting off this list, and at number 10 with snakes in your toilet. This is a pretty popular urban legend because so many people have a fear of snakes. But what if I told you
The original Chicago DedSec has coordinated operations. Everybody mostly worked.
when their son went to the bathroom. This is a true story.
DedSec found Josh, hot sauce, posting anti-CTOS videos on Invite. Kid had a plastic Halloween mask over his face, a skull, but like the worst dollar store skull you can find. You can see his eyes through it. Big no-no when it comes to avoiding a profiler. He had a distorted voice, but he didn't change his speech patterns. See, Josh, he's high-functioning autistic, which means he's got a very specific way of talking. Satara found him easily, but it wasn't at all what we expected. When you get down to pure coding, Josh operates on a higher level than the rest of us. We gotta look at his CTOS profile, and all kinds of nasty flags popped up. Emotionally challenged, unstable, even a low mental maturity score. He's none of those things, and he quickly became the activist soul of our group. He has a black and white way of seeing things, fair and unfair, which means he can be refreshing and often hilarious. We caught a glimpse of the damage CTOS dealt him. Rejected care programs, cut funding, overcharges. We offered to help him make things right. When we met Josh, he had the right intentions and the wrong approach, like a laser putting on a pretty light show instead of burning holes. If Bloom's system wants to make him unemployable, damn straight we're gonna snatch him up and point him right back at him.
Is very true, and it's just happening around the world in hotel rooms. People are killing people and just stuffing them in mattresses. I mean, what the heck is going on? Okay, so the deadly elevator comes into this list at number 7. I think we all have a fear sometimes of an elevator closing on someone's limb. You're walking in and then, oh my god, my arm never got in, and it just shuts on it. But then again, we're all caught by the fact that elevators have sensors. Well, do the older ones also have sensors? Because I'm a little bit afraid of like old elevators. There are safety precautions, but as it turns out, a doctor was a victim of an elevator death. In 2003, the doctor became pinned between the door at the
Fatty.
shoulders as he was getting onto the elevator. The elevator to ascend. It
Yeah.
ended up slicing his head into two, leaving his ear
I call you Fatty on a live stream.
Not to get too graphic, this what the heck. Apparently 30
It's
people
live.
killed each year by an elevator. The chef who cooked his own wife makes its way into this list at number 6. There's an urban legend surrounding a chef who killed and slow cooked his wife because they were constantly fighting.
The app's
So when you
downloaded
have
and
an
I'm in the
argument,
park.
this is what you
What am I
do.
testing?
Start
Okay, well,
profiling
this
things
urban
around
legend is
you.
actually
People,
something that happened.
devices. See what you can pull from them. That's what helps us figure out our next ops. And running ops that are important to people is how we get them interested in DedSec. The more followers download our app, the more intel we get. It's the circle of life.
Oh, and see if you can find some components to help us with our research. Hipster merchant!
The app is your data mining tool.
So what now?
Up to you, man. You're free to do whatever catches your eye. We post ops for the DedSec app, and doing them helps us get followers. And followers are our Skrilla. Followers mean computers, which boosts our processing power, which lets us do bigger and badder ops.
Come on, dude. Really?
Hey, so what's this about Bobo Day?
You know Bobo's what?
Yeah.
Time.
Okay.
I assume you guys have heard of Gene Carcani?
He's the shit sack who's on TV laughing about how he's raising the price of leukemia medicine.
Yeah, the most hated man in America? Yeah, why do you ask?
Guy's a huge Bobo Dakes fan. Must have read Bobo's in town recording new tracks, because he's offering millions to keep the album to himself.
So stupid. Bobo will never go for it.
The real one won't. So we're gonna do it for him. I'm gonna visit Bobo and see if I can borrow some of his new tracks as proof that we're legit.
How do we contact Carcani?
I need you guys to run through interviews, podcasts, whatever. Find me some usable lines. We're gonna make a soundboard.
Ooh, I love it.
So these people who are actually unconscious, they later wake up in the morgue, but they are slowly freezing to death. There's nothing that they can do about it. Well, this legend turns out to be true. In 2011, an 80-year-old woman was declared dead due to a cardiac arrest, and she was placed in a body bag and put into the morgue. Later on, the funeral home came to pick up the body, only to discover that her body bag was partially unzipped, and she was covered in cuts and bruises. As it turns out, she was only unconscious when she was declared dead, and she ended up slowly freezing to death as she desperately attempted to free herself. I mean, this is a big mess up. Stabbing its way into number 3 is the Craigslist killer. There was countless urban legends surrounding the dangers of Craigslist. A lot of them were about people being lured by men and being killed in abandoned houses. Well, sadly, this is also true, but you guys knew that because you know the title of this video. In 2009, a medical student arranged meetings for sexual favors on Craigslist with women where he would brutally murder them by close-range shooting or bludgeon them to death. Thankfully, police caught this guy and arrested him, but in prison, he committed suicide by cutting major arteries and blocking his airway. Now, in at number 2 is the intruder living in the walls. There is an urban legend about a family who moved into a secluded older home and is disturbed to find out that objects are continuously being misplaced and there are strange noises happening. Eventually, the town discovers that the family has been brutally murdered in their walls. Well, as it turns out, there are a number of true cases of an invader living in the attic or walls of a family home without them even knowing. In 2015, a man entered someone's home, crawled
Marcus, guys, the Cyber Driver trailer just dropped.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Hey, don't watch it without me.
Meet you at the Hackerspace.
I'm on my way.
Marcus, heads up. We've got a CTOS box nearby that needs liberating.
Any opposition?
Bloom security, of course, which means they're packing, but it's nothing we haven't done before. Hey, I just intercepted a message that Bloom is securing the data. I give you maybe 5 minutes.
Extracting organs and selling them on the black market is unfortunately very real. What the hell is this? Well, there you guys have it. Make sure you guys check your bed every night. Make sure you guys know what you're drinking. You don't want to be drugged up, woken up, and then your organs are just gone. Hopefully I didn't scare you guys too much with these urban legends. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time in a Most Amazing Top 10 video. Joking? Welcome back, guys. I am Danny Burke, and ages ago on this channel we did a couple of videos where I told you guys scary stories that were, to the best of my knowledge, 100% true. I saw a lot of you guys in the comments love them. I know many of you like hearing creepy stories, but for some reason we never made any more videos on it. That was a mistake, but I am here to fix that now with the top 10 scary stories that are real, part 3. Alright guys, a lot of these stories came from Reddit, so if you like these, you can find more there. Just like faced their mother and tried to wake her up. It took a few seconds, but when she finally did, they looked back and there, across the hallway in the bedroom door, they saw a man slowly out of the room. They were on the first floor, so their mother threw them out of the window when they ran to a neighbor and called 911. The house was totally locked when they went to sleep, and police said they think the man had been hiding in the house until night. Told a story of how his great grandmother was back in the library one day where she volunteered. Someone behind her, seeing the man was right up close to her. He started matching her pace. She started to panic, but she knew she was almost home. He was just 100 yards away, and she could feel his breath on the back of her neck when suddenly it happens. He puts his hand on her shoulder and says in a sinister voice, "Okay, don't turn around and hand over your purse or I'll cut you." Doesn't sound the same coming from me. She stops, she steps forward, she turns around and shoots him in the neck with a gun that she's always kept in her purse. This was Texas. The man died in a hospital prison 5 years later, and the family was left with a pretty scary story to tell everyone. Next up at number 8, Reddit user Lenny AK told the story of being a little kid living in Eastern Europe. One day, when he and his cousin were about 8 or 9 years old, they were walking through the woods. Suddenly, in the bushes, they saw a man just standing there. He had his back towards them and was wearing nothing but underwear, dress shoes, and a watch. They
I know you can hear me.
He must have
Come out.
because he began to turn around, a terrifyingly creepy smile on his face. He then began to make a beckoning motion with his finger. They both ran away as fast as they could, and they said they've never ran faster since. Moving on to number 7, Reddit user Faux Fox told the story of their family vacation years ago to Missouri. They arrived at the house at 1 a.m. and were all hungry from their long drive. His father, mother, and younger sisters wanted to see if a nearby McDonald's was open. He was so tired that he said he would stay back at the house. The mother said that one of the sisters would be staying with him too. As he fell asleep watching TV in the living room, he heard the pitter-patter of footsteps along the hallway behind him. His sister, he got a call from his mother to ask what he wants to eat, and he could hear both of his sisters in the background. She confirmed that they had both ended up going with them, and then suddenly he heard a giggle come from somewhere behind him. He stood up to look around and saw nothing, and so he stood in the corner of the room until everyone got back. And at number 6, summer.
911. What's your
help
emergency?
to find his lost puppy. He says he will show him a
You're
photo
right
of the
away.
puppy if he comes a little bit closer. The boy then called out to his brother Dan, who was nearby, saying,
CTOS verified the
help us find a
location.
puppy.
Police are on their way.
Stay right where you are!
Be advised, we have reports of a violent criminal near your location. Over. Found that it was switched over. Now she thought it was just her mistake at first, but it kept happening every single day. The locks were always the wrong way around. One day it happened, and she thought that was really strange. As usual, she went to the fridge to get something to eat, and inside the fridge, she found a 100-year-old book, just like the ones she actually collected as a hobby. But this one wasn't hers. She called her landlady to find out what was going on. The landlady said she didn't touch the locks or put the book in the fridge, but was very freaked out because the last person to live there was a very creepy guy with mental health issues and drug problems. She got the locks changed forever later that day. And finally now at number 1, we have user CDC, who told the story of always having a very irrational fear as a child that if they returned home at night, they had to walk straight into the house without looking back, because if they did, someone would be following them. One night they went to go and grab their school bag from the car, and on their way back, with their anxiety levels reaching their absolute peak, they thought, this is stupid, what am I doing? So, they looked back. He saw what appeared to be someone crouching down beside his mum's car, peeking their head around the side. A woman in her mid to late 30s. She was just staring at them, wide-eyed, with a big smile on her face. They made eye contact, smiling because finally, after years of watching him, he had finally caught her. Creepy. That is the only word I have for that one. Alright, you little creeps, do you want a part 4 of this? I kinda do. I found a couple of other stories that might actually be a little bit too dark for this video, so I'm gonna see how you guys like this one, and then maybe we'll get even darker in the next part. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on all our future videos. I'm Danny Burke, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Sky Kingdoms is a hot new game. Let's go take a look. Alright, let's add some guys to the battlefield. This guy looks pretty good. Alright, let's the battle begin. Alright, drop some of those blue flames. Some lightning. Ooh, we're looking good. Oh, we won. Victory. Sky Kingdoms. Download it now.
Welcome back, guys, to Most Amazing Top 10. My name's Danny Burke. Do you remember when I talked about scary stories that are extra scary because they're also true? That video up here got a lot of good feedback from everyone. I don't know what it is that you guys like about being scared so much, but you really do love it. So fear not. I am back with more terrifying truths with the top 10 scary stories that are real, part 2. Starting off at number 10, we have the killer body fumes. In 1994, Gloria Ramirez was rushed to hospital with breathing problems and ended up dying from heart and kidney failure. While they were trying to save her, the ER staff inserted an IV drip into her and drew some blood. They said it smelled like ammonia, and some people reported her skin being covered in a strange oily layer. The nurse then noticed strange particles floating in the blood. Soon, she fainted. Then the doctor left the room, sat down, and also fainted. Next, a respiratory therapist in the room fainted. People started dropping like flies. When they woke up, they couldn't stop shaking, and their skin felt like it was on fire. The ones who were closest to Gloria Ramirez ended up being hospitalized for days, but out of the 37 emergency room staff members, 23 of them experienced some of these strange symptoms. Scientists have struggled to put forward a theory as to why Gloria Ramirez's body was just so toxic and how fumes from her blood were just so dangerous. Coming at number 9 now, we have The Watcher. In 2014, a family in Westfield, New Jersey were forced to flee their brand new $1.3 million home after receiving letters from someone who called themselves The Watcher. Now, The Watcher had told the new family that the home had been in his family for decades and that they were put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. Now, if that doesn't sound creepy enough, wait till you hear this. The Watcher then asked if the family's children had found what's in the walls yet, and also said, I am pleased to know your names now and the names of the young blood you have brought to me. Quite rightly, the family left soon after that, and the police never found out who the Watcher really was. No new letters have been sent, and it's thought the Watcher is just waiting to watch the new arrivals. Next up at number 8 now, we have Heaven's Gate. In 1974, a group called Heaven's Gate formed in the United States. They believed the Earth was about to be recycled. All life would apparently be wiped out, and the only way for them to be saved was to evacuate the planet and get onto a spacecraft that was traveling behind an approaching comet. How? By committing mass suicide. This UFO would then apparently take their souls to a level of existence above human. On March 26, 1997, their bodies were found at a rented California ranch. 38 members had killed themselves by taking a lethal cocktail. Police found all of them lying neatly in their own bunk beds. Their faces were covered with a square purple cloth. All of them had black sweatpants and joggers on, brand new Nike shoes and armband patches that said Heaven's Gate Away Team. This was not a joke. Tapes that they had recorded before the mass suicide can be found on YouTube right now. Coming in at number 7, we have Facebook from Beyond the Grave. In 2014, Reddit user Nate SW shared a very chilling story. On the 7th of August 2012, his girlfriend Emily was killed in a car crash. They had been dating for 5 years. 13 months passed with Nate trying to move on from that, and then on September 4th, 2013, he got a Facebook message from her. At first, Nathan presumed it was from Emily's mother, who he had given the Facebook password to. A few more months passed, and then the messages continued again, making references to some of their past conversations. Then he started getting notifications from her where she would tag herself in his pictures in empty spaces where she should have been. No matter how many times he changed the password, the messages just kept coming. Eventually, she started to say she was cold. Cold. She was freezing and didn't know what was happening to her. To this day, Nathan still doesn't know if this was some sort of sick joke or a chilling message from Beyond the Grave. In at number 6 now.
It's a training center! Oh, that is so cool!
Joseph had already killed 10 people in a number of different risky ways. The victims were usually crack cocaine addicts or prostitutes that he would hack to death with an axe under a bridge. One witness who was just fishing nearby got beaten to death with a steel pipe simply for just seeing a murder take place. Joseph was still not caught, and so he opened his own burger stand. Like you do. Now, whenever he killed a new prostitute, he would use the meat in his burgers that he would sell to people. When he was eventually caught and arrested, Metheny told police, I would also sell real roast beef and pork sandwiches. They were very good. The human body taste was very similar to pork. If you mix it together, no one can tell the difference. Next up at number 5 now, we have the cell phone stalker. In 2007, a family in Washington State started getting unwelcome calls on their phones. Throughout the night, the calls threatened to kill their children, the grandparents, and the pets. And creepily, they would also get voicemails of their own private conversations, and even one where they were talking to a police detective about this whole thing. Disturbingly, when the phone calls' origins were traced, they seemed to come from the family's own phones, even when they were switched off. Their phone company said this should not be possible. At one point, even the neighbor got a call. She was apparently slicing limes in her kitchen when the stalker called and said he preferred lemons. No matter how many times they changed their phones, the calls just kept coming. The stalker was never caught, and in the end, the family said if they go a day without a call, that's a good day. Okay, moving on to the number 4 spot now, we have the girl in the box. In 1977, 20-year-old Colleen Stan was kidnapped while hitchhiking from her home in Oregon. Her captors, Cameron and Janice Hooker, took her to the Californian hills and kept her in a sort of coffin-like box. Colleen would often spend 23 hours in this box at a time, only being allowed out to be beaten, raped, and tortured. This went on for 7 years, from 1977 until 1984. At that point, Janice Hooker, one of the captors, finally went to the police and told them everything. Colleen was rescued family and underwent a lot of therapy to try and live a normal life again. I'm amazed that anyone could do that after spending 7 years locked in a coffin for sometimes 23 hours a day. Next up at number 3, we have the Hinterkaifeck murder. In 1922, an entire family living at the Hinterkaifeck farm in Germany were killed by wounds from a pickaxe. The parents, widowed daughter, her children, and even the housekeeper were all found dead. 4 of them were in the barn, and 2 of them were in their beds. Here's the really creepy thing. The murderer apparently continued to live at the farm with the family's dead bodies there for some time afterwards. Police knew this because when they arrived, the animals were still being fed. Neighbors apparently saw smoke coming from the chimney, and also the dog was tied up outside the barn. It gets even creepier. Before their murders, the family had reported hearing footsteps in the attic, seeing footprints in the snow that led from the woods to the house, but not back the other way. And they also saw claw marks on the door of the tool shed where they kept the pickaxe that was used to kill them. The crime was never solved. Coming in at number 2 now, we have The Waking Dead. This story comes from Honduras, where a girl called Nacy Perez went into a panic attack after hearing gunshots. When she started foaming at the mouth, a priest was called to exorcise her of an evil spirit. Soon though, she was pronounced dead in hospital and buried in her wedding dress at the cemetery. A day after the funeral, her husband was visiting her grave when he heard banging and screaming coming from inside the concrete tomb. A graveyard worker confirmed hearing the exact same thing. The family arrived, smashed open the tomb, and took her to hospital. Her cousin said she put her hand on her body and she was still warm. She had scratches on her forehead and bruises on her fingers. It looked like she had tried desperately to get out of the casket and had hurt herself. She was pronounced dead again at the hospital and buried for a second time. Some people say she didn't actually die the first time and instead might have woken up inside the coffin and died from lack of oxygen. And finally now, at number 1, we have Rodney Alcala. This man is a convicted rapist and serial killer who has been sentenced to death for the murder of 5 women between 1978 and 1979.
Get some
The
people
scary
over
thing
here,
is, it's thought he could have killed as many as 50. Right in the middle of
Base to
this,
control.
Rodney
Be on
Alcala
alert.
was
Possible targets verification.
on the dating game TV show where men compete for a date with a bachelorette. In the TV footage, it's incredibly women as he had just killed 2 women recently. Not long after, Rodney Alcala will go on to kill 2 more women. Horrifyingly, he actually the story is the fact that the woman he won the date with eventually refused to go on the date with him because she found him creepy.
Getting clear! Seeking cover!
From all of those, are you creeped out? Do you want a part 3 around him?
I'm going to explain really quick to everyone that on the bottom right of that damage statistics chart, there's a little TV-looking button.
Okay guys, I'm just going to end the video here, and see you in the next one. Peace.